Hello again, everybody. This is Teddy Weeks with Pacer Baseball Recap from last week's exciting week with the USC Aiken Pacers as they took 2 out of 3 from the defending national champions, Nova Southeastern University. Jack McElwee, would you tell us what happened in Game 1?
Well, Teddy, it was a real nail-biter, and 11-10, and with 6 lead changes in 9 innings. That's amazing. And capped off with Ty Ammerman's walk-off single in the 9th inning. Felt kind of to score a very lonely Beeman who came across the plate with the winning run. But nobody's there to greet him because they're all out in right field swarming all over Ammerman to win. But it was just a great game, Teddy. And Ard got the win to go to a 4-0 on the season and playing really good ball. So then we got to Game 2. A little less exciting, though.
Yeah, Game 2. Those are the kind that we all like. Pacers won that game 11-3. We got a great pitching effort out of Joe Benitez. His record is 5-1 now. He struck out 9, and the thing that impressed me more than anything else, Jack, he only walked 1 batter. And he is a quality left-hander, and we were very fortunate to have him. But he had the Sharks trying to get out of the whole day, and they just couldn't do it.
Well, I would say he had them flummoxed.
Flummoxed, okay.
Flummoxed, yeah. And like you said, the only 1 walk against 9 strikeouts. What a great performance. He's become the ace of the staff, I think, don't you?
I think so, too. And we got some timely hitting. And the thing about this team, and we mentioned this on the air several times with this Nova Southeastern, they are some of the best 2-strike hitters I've seen. And what I mean about that is the count may be 1-2, and they'll foul off 5 or 6 pitches, and they may end up getting a hit, or they may end up walking, or if we're lucky, we get somebody out. But people don't realize how good a program this Nova Southeastern was and is. But, I mean, they're the defending national champions, and they were #1 going into this series this week.
Well, and like you said, you just never can give a team like that an extra out every inning, which basically what you're doing when you're giving them 6 and 7 foul balls. And it's not just 1 or 2 guys doing it. That's their whole lineup.
And it goes to the pitch count. You know how we go to call the sports information office every time we up there during the game. We ask the same question: what's the pitch count? What's the pitch count? And our pitch counts on our pitchers were pretty high, and mainly because they fouled off so many pitches.
Well, we got by Game 2 without too much distress, but then came Game 3.
Game 3 was a toughie. It really was. It was back and forth, and then in the 8th inning, Zach Moon hits a ball that half an inch up on that yellow line, hits the foul pole. It's a home run instead of a double of what he got. Coach Thomas alluded to this many times. It ain't over till it's over.
Well, and the normally very reliable Mitch Spence, a true freshman who has been thrust basically into the closer role, has done a great job all season and comes in the 9th inning with 2 outs and 2 mistake pitches, 1 for a double, and then a home run. So 2 pitches changed the game from us leading by 1 run to being down by 1 run. And that was his only home run he's given up all season, Teddy.
Well, I think if there's a silver lining in this for Mitchell Spence, he will prosper from this. He'll learn from this the next time around. And he's going to be a great pitcher here at USC Aiken before he leaves. And it was just one of those things. And, when we started, we said 2 out of 3 against the defending national champions would be happy. But we mentioned this on the air, all 3 of us. We were greedy. We wanted all 3 of them.
Well, you always want 3. So then again, perhaps teams will be saying that about us, that, well, we're playing the #1 team in the nation, the Aiken Pacers. So what do you say we go to the Kenny Thomas break right here?
Okay.
Kenny?
Well, Coach, here we are. The weekend after a huge series. The #1 team in the country comes to town. And well, let's just say the Pacers won this series.
Yeah, I told somebody Saturday night that it's kind of weird when you win the first 2 games of a series, and you get that sweep in your mind. We can sweep this thing, and then if you don't win the 3rd game, it's kind of, it's not a bummer, but it's a little downer, because you're leaving on a loss. Where sometimes if you split the first 2, then you win the 3rd game, you're kind of happy, So, we always take them 1 game at a time, and obviously we want to sweep every series, and we take 1 game at a time. But we also realize that the third game of the series is very difficult, and we've talked about this so much. You're either trying to sweep, you're either trying to survive, or you're trying to win the series, one of the three every time. So, and every one of them are difficult. Every one of them are difficult. So, and the thing is, we had a chance. We were 2 outs in the ninth inning, up 1 run, nobody on base, and lo and behold, they put a pinch hitter up and hit a double, and then the leadoff man hits a home run, and then we don't score in the bottom of the ninth. So when you hear me say the game is not over until the last pitch of the game, that's exactly the truth, because we were 2 outs with nobody on and looking good to finish it out and couldn't finish it out. So that's baseball. It happens sometimes. You don't like it, but yeah, we did win 2 out of 3 this weekend, so that's a positive.
What does that mean for this program to take 2 from the defending national champions, the number 1 team in the country? What, in real terms, does that mean to this baseball program?
Well, you know, it means a lot that we played a very quality team, and you know, we came back on Friday night down 2 runs in the ninth inning and scored 3 to win, and then Saturday we came out. I mean, I'm mixed up here. Thursday night we did that. Friday night, you know, we kind of dominated the game a little bit. We went 11-3 and kind of dominated the game, and then Saturday, the closing game of the series, we were so close and just couldn't pull it out. So what it means is it shows us that, you know, that we can play with anybody. Although I realize that. I know we can play with anybody. We just can't schedule anybody. That's the problem. And this time we got to schedule a nationally ranked team that had won the championship last year, was ranked number 1. You know, we would schedule these all the time if we could get them, you know. And so we know we can play with anybody. But this weekend was exciting for the community. It was very exciting for the university, very exciting for the radio station. I mean, it was big. Everybody, you know, I don't know that I remember a series having that much hoopla. You know, I looked at the Thursday morning paper, Aiken Standard, and above the headlines on the front page, it's talking about the Nova USC Aiken series starting tonight. So it was kind of crazy, and but realistically, look, man, we're going to Columbus State this weekend. If we want to be champions of the Peach Belt Conference, this weekend is huge at Burger King Center Stadium at Columbus State. So it's going to be really big this weekend for us.
In your mind, if not on paper, is the University of South Carolina at Aiken baseball team the number 1 team in the country?
Well, you know, I don't know. I hadn't seen them all. I wished I could see them all, then I could tell you that. You know, if we come out in the polls, I think they come out late on Tuesday night. So Wednesday morning, the new poll will come out. If we're number 1, you know, it's great for our university. Really is hoping that we come out number 1. That's going to be a big deal for publicity for us. I know the community would love it for us to be number 1. And I'm not going to tell you I wouldn't love it. I'd like it. We already have a target on our chest, so what's the difference? Let's put a big 1 in the middle of that target. But it's not, either way, that's not the ending goal. The ending goal is to be number 1 in June. That's the ending goal, and that you have to earn. You know, being number 1 Wednesday will mean that the sports writers believe that we're the best team in the country, and that we have played our way into that position. But if you're number 1 in June, that means you've gone through the NCAA tournament and you've proven on the field that against other opponents that you're number 1. So it would be great for our university. I don't know. You know, number 2 lost 1 game this weekend. They won 2 out of 3. So I don't know. You know, I had a vice chancellor text me Saturday night and was talking about how proud of us he was. And he said, we'll be number 1 come Wednesday. And I said, well, we'll see. But, you know, heck, that can come and go too. You got to realize you might be number one, you lose a game, and all of a sudden that drops real quick. So it's hard to stay there too.
Well, you've got no slouch coming up this weekend, no question about it. And, well, we'll talk about Columbus State in a second, but the reality is you got no slouch coming to town on Wednesday night.
Another regional game Wednesday night against Emmanuel. Another regional game for us, and you know, they're all so important. Coach Warner and Coach Disher and I were in the office this morning talking about it, and you know, they're young into the system. They, you know, Coach Warner's in his first year, Disher in his second year, so they're asking the system. The system is crazy. The NCAA system is crazy, you know, and you have to win certain games. I mean, it's just, that's the way it goes. And I've learned the system. I know the system. The system is not fair all the time. We know that. But I know the system. So Wednesday night's game is vitally important for us. And then we go to Columbus State, and those are vitally important, not just for regional and for NCAA hopes, but it's also for the Peach Belt Conference, because if we want to win the Peach Belt Conference, we got to go on the road 3 more weekends and do well.
Well, and again, you mentioned Emmanuel, big regional test on Wednesday night, and then you got that Peach Belt Conference series this weekend, and it's a road series. And this is a Pacer team that has yet to prove that they can win consistently on the road.
Yeah, we last year we didn't do very well on the road at times, and at times we did. You know, we went to Armstrong last weekend and won all 3. So let's see what we do at Columbus. You know, it's a day-to-day process. Nothing's easy in this world. College baseball ain't easy. Mm-hmm. Nobody, I told the players Saturday night, nobody ever told you that anything in this world was going to be easy. If they did, they lied to you. And I never told you that college baseball is easy. It's not easy. You know, you think you have this game Saturday, you're 2 outs with nobody on, and you're over there ready to jump and celebrate, and the next thing you know, you're down a run. You know, in 2 pitches, you are down a run. Guy hits a double, the next pitch, the guy hits a home run. So that's how quick it can happen. Nothing's easy. Going to Columbus State this weekend is not going to be easy. Beating Emmanuel Wednesday is not going to be easy. You have to work for those things, and hopefully our guys will understand it. However the rankings come out Wednesday morning, we don't need any big heads. We know who we are. We know we have, like every team in the country, we have weaknesses. Every team in the country has them. Anybody that says they don't have any weaknesses, then they should have a 0 over there beside their loss record at the end of the year. And I don't believe I've ever seen that in college baseball, a 0 over there. So everybody has weaknesses. We have weaknesses. You have to work on it constantly. It's nothing easy. It's like Tony La Russa said in his Hall of Fame speech when he was inducted into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. As a coach, there is no such thing as a perfect game, and that is the truth. There is no such thing as everything went perfect today. You might win 20-0, which we did a couple of weeks ago, but I saw several things that we didn't do very well that we must fix if we're going to be good down the road. So number 1 ranking would be great. Number 2 would be great. Number 3 is okay. Let's see how it comes out, but let's get after 4 big games this week.
Well, thanks a lot, Coach, and Tony. We always enjoy listening to Kenny's words of wisdom. And we've got a non-conference game coming up now with Emmanuel, but it is a regional game, Tony, this weekend, and by no means is it a gimme.
You're exactly right, Jack. You know, we play Emmanuel every year. Matter of fact, we play them twice this year. And those teams love to come in and play us, mainly because they have nothing to lose by that. And they'll be coming in here, and Coach alluded to this earlier, this is a region-type game that will look very favorable when you win it at the end of the season when it comes time for the NCAA bids to go out. And like you said, we play them on Wednesday night. Wednesday afternoon, excuse me, and I feel like, we'll have a good game. And as of right now, I don't think they've made a decision who's going to be the pitching on Wednesday.
No, they haven't. And in the last 4 contests against Emmanuel, we've won all 4 and outscoring them 46-12. But 2 of those are fairly close, and so you just can't discount them. And those are the ones that can come back and bite you. They're hitting .306 as a team. So they're not to be trifled with.
No, I mean, our coach doesn't like to use the word trap game, and I don't either. I mean, you got to play, and if you want to be the number 1 team in the country and everything, you've got to win these games. Now, after this one, we got 3 huge games coming up this weekend.
With Columbus State out on the road, and Columbus State is 7-2 in conference, and we are 6-0. So they are nipping at our heels, so to speak, and they are certainly a very good ball club. Not quite as strong in pitching, perhaps, as we are, but they make up for it in very good hitting. They're batting over .330 as a team.
Yes, it is. Last year, that's where the regionals were played, and we went down, and of course, we finished runner-up and everything. And Columbus was favored to win it, but they didn't. It'll be tough down there. Down in Columbus, it'll be a tough situation. But like coaches said many times, and what we've said on the broadcast, if you want to win a championship, you got to win on the road, and this is important.
Yes, it is, and we've been better on the road this year than we have in the past. We've struggled on the road in the past, but this year we've got a winning record on the road, and but Columbus State has a very good winning record at home, so it's going to be quite a matchup, Teddy.
Yes, this Peach Belt competition and all the way around, and I think it's very balanced. I see where Francis Marion lost 2 out of 3 games this past weekend, and they got a great baseball team. So, we got to be ready to play. You take them one at a time. The first one's Wednesday, and then we worry about Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
That's right, Teddy. And with that, folks, thanks for joining us. And I'm Jack McElwee.
And I'm Teddy Weeks. Go Pacers.